Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Goodwin of YourBostonSports.com. It's Sunday, March 19th, 2017, in the midst of spring training. With me on the phone is John Korn. Mr. Korn, how are you today?
I'm doing great. In fact, I just turned the game on. The Red Sox are losing 9-7 to Minnesota. Our old friend Breslow is pitching. But from what I hear, they're having a pretty good spring. No serious injuries. So far, so good.
But I heard that that Pomerantz left the game after 2 innings today. They don't know if it's precautionary or what.
Yeah, is it because of injury or just
Yes. I think strained quad, I think.
Yeah.
So, it could be just precautionary. Who knows?
So hopefully all that is. And David Price, I'm hearing conflicting things about him, like they're just trying to rest his arm and hopefully he'll be okay.
Well, I guess he's throwing. So, let me ask you this. I mean, how relieved were you to find out that you didn't have to have Tommy John surgery? I mean, were you, did you not go to work for a couple of days out of, concern? Or,
I would sit him down for a long time. I would make darn sure he was okay. They won't even need him until July. Okay?
But don't you think that was made up? That was a story that was just, they made it too big because there was nothing going on?
Well, in the news media, they make everything too big, but we don't have to go there. But yeah. I would agree with that.
I mean, things like that happen to a team, to a rotation. I mean, I think they made a lot of it, especially when they said, "Oh, he doesn't need Tommy John." Thank goodness, it's a big story out of Fort Myers. Blah blah blah.
Well, you remember the old days when you're old enough to remember this. You didn't hear about injuries all the time. You didn't hear about possible future injuries all the time. They're like forecasting injuries. It's incredible how they do. The reporters, the Boston sports writers, are forecasting an injury for David Price now.
Right, and the other thing is that no one.
Maybe he'll last 120 innings before an injury. I mean, it's crazy.
No one went to see the doctor. No one traveled to Indianapolis and had a report on the news. There
was a time when a guy got injured, he'd be on the DL. When he got off the DL, he wasn't playing again. That was all that was said about it.
Exactly.
Now they're everybody's a medical expert. But
I know.
Our old friend David Breslow is on the mound. You said he was pitching for Israel.
I
right?
thought he was. I thought Craig Breslow was pitching for Israel. Maybe I'm incorrect. I mean, Israel is continuing on being the darlings of the WBC apparently.
That is great. Good for them. Isn't Breslow? Doesn't he have some kind of PhD in thermonuclear?
Well, yeah, I know he went to Yale. I don't know if he's got a PhD, but might as well be a PhD. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old friend Ryan Lavarnway is also playing for Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. Hey, so Pablo Sandoval, he had 2 home runs yesterday.
Good.
Leading the team in runs batted in. Playing pretty good third base apparently. And John Farrell has yet to commit to having Sandoval be the starting third baseman opening day.
Wow.
Why do you think that is?
He missed the whole year last year.
Do they think he's going to order room service and gain 50 pounds overnight?
We're gonna weigh you when you come in. If you gain 50 pounds on the night before, we're putting you on the DL. Well, I mean, he was out all year last year, and the year before that he was terrible. So I mean, he's got to prove himself.
Yeah.
But he's kind of, it's almost like Farrell's publicly saying that, almost, by doing that.
Oh, he is publicly saying it. Absolutely.
Now, who's having a good spring is Rusney Castillo.
Interesting.
He's batting over 350.
And he's not even on the 40-man.
So they got a lot of guys are showing up this year.
But don't you think it's going to take a lot for them to actually take a chance with him since he's not on the 40-man roster?
He doesn't have a chance. I mean, look at they got the best outfield in baseball.
Right.
Okay? And then they have what's his name there?
Chris Young.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah.
Well, don't forget, they also have what's his name? Came over from the Cardinals.
Oh, Craig, Alan Craig.
Alan Craig.
Yeah.
Supposedly he hasn't been healthy the whole time he's been with the Red Sox, but he's not on the 40-man. He's not on the 40-man roster either. So they're paying them both quite a bit of money. I think. It would be quite a move for them to move Rusney Castillo onto the 40-man roster. They'd really have to need him in Boston for them to do that, don't you think?
Yeah.
To use someone else's spot.
Yeah, especially if you're an outfielder. I mean, where are they going to put? Now, I want to ask you, Christian Vasquez. He's batting right now. What's your opinion about him?
I think he's a great defensive catcher, probably one of the better in the game. I'm not going to say one of the best, but
Can't hit.
well, I don't know if he can't, but he needs to work on it. He needs to. I don't want to say he needs to have a Sandy Leone type of breakout year, but in the absence of that, I don't. Do you think Sandy Leone is the starting catcher?
Oh yeah, it's his job to lose, I think.
And Leone is much better defensively than people think he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Swihart's a better hitter than Vasquez is. So I think it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Swihart, they were going to move him into the outfield, but they decided to. He's a catcher.
Yeah,
They have 3 good catchers.
I guess when he got hurt last year in the outfield, they said that's enough outfield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they have 3 good catchers.
they do. They do.
Very luxurious problem to have.
Very luxurious
Very
problem.
luxurious problem.
And don't forget, they've got a lot of young players that look really good. I mean, you were mentioning before we came on, Marco Hernandez, right? Mm-hmm. And then Devin Marrero is hitting well also, and he's been a kind of a no-hit guy, and he's hitting over 300. And then I think Sam Travis is another one that, those 3, they've got 3 good young players. I think they're all infielders. But, you never know when you're going to need these guys. And to actually have to be able to bring somebody up that can, play the infield and hit, that's a luxurious problem.
That's a very luxurious problem. Vasquez just hit a double, by the way,
Okay.
up the left field wall.
Yeah, I have the game on. I have the game on as well.
I'll tell you what, you cannot replace Big Papi, but I'll tell you, if there's one team that can replace him by redefining the situation, it's the Boston Red Sox.
That's a
Where
big
they can still score as many runs next year. without Papi, as they
redefining. That's a big word.
Redefine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I know
a
lots of big words. I know about 5 big words. Effervescence?
Hey, I agree with you about Big Papi. And they were talking about Mitch Moreland earlier today, and the fact that he's a Gold Glove first baseman, which they didn't have last year, and also he's a left-handed hitter that can go the other way. They showed a highlight of him hitting a home run to left field the other day. So kind of a good piece to fit in there.
I wonder if they'll be able to sign him this year, because they only have him for 1 year, right?
Right.
Who did they give up for him?
I think it was a free agent signing.
For 1 year?
Yep.
Why would a free agent only sign for 1 year?
Well, and maybe he wants to have that breakout year to cash in later.
So, I don't know. I mean, the only question mark I see is third base, right?
If that.
I mean, shortstop, you got Bogarts, you got PD there, you got Mitch Moreland at first base, you got 3 good catchers, you got the best outfield in baseball.
That's right.
You got, for crying out loud, David Price is your number 3 starter. Mm-hmm. Did you ever think you see that?
Yep.
I mean, their bullpen is good. They have Kimbrel,
right?
Kelly, Thornburg.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying Thornburg maybe the 8th inning guy.
Well, don't forget Heath Hembry as well.
Hembry, Robbie Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say Kelly?
If you no, but you just did.
Joe Kelly. I mean, let's put it this way: the front office did everything they can do.
Yep.
So.
Hey, can we talk a little bit about this intentional walk thing? I know it's old news because it happened so many weeks ago.
Do any fans like this?
I can't imagine that any baseball fan would go for this.
A real fan would not like this.
I mean, it was brought up that the intentional walk adds 4 to the pitch count. Who cares? Does that mean that a manager, if a guy's at 97 and his 101st pitch is the end of an intentional walk, that he's over 100, that's it?
I mean, let me ask you something. How many intentional walks are there in one game, an average game? Probably 1?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. How long does it take to intentionally walk a batter? A minute?
Sure.
So there's no way it saves time.
Right.
If you want to save time, how about not having a bunch of umpires standing in front of with the headphones on for 10 minutes reviewing a play? How about that?
Yep. Well, they're trying to reduce that as well. But do you think could this have been a ploy by the Players Association to avoid embarrassment? I mean, if a guy throws an intentional walk pitch that gets away, that's embarrassing. Is it just a thing where they just don't want to do it anymore? Maybe it was some kind of concession.
I don't know. I never thought of that. but it takes away from the unpredictability of the game, which is one of the great things about baseball. You never know what's going to happen.
That's right. That's right.
Roberto Clemente hit a home run one time on an intentional walk. The guy, one of the pitches was a little too close to the plate, and he hit the damn thing over the fence.
Yep.
I mean, that's part of what makes baseball the greatest game in the world. Stuff like that happens
Right.
out of nowhere.
So as long as they've come up with that idea, I thought it would be good for us to come up with some more rules. For example, if there's a guy in third and somebody hits a single, the guy in third should just go to the dugout. Why should he have to cross home plate?
Why risk getting injured or sliding into the catcher? You're right, absolutely.
I mean, maybe the catcher and the guy who crosses home plate might get into a fight because they said something to one another.
Yeah, we can't have that on the field.
No.
That's not good.
What about I don't know, home runs, like foul ball home runs? If the wind blows them away, what do you think of that?
Yeah, if the wind blows it out, that's not fair. So they should just call it a home run. They can review it, and they can spend about 45 minutes to an hour reviewing it and getting the Doppler radar on there and determining whether or not that this would this have been a fair ball had not the wind been blowing from east to west.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. That's a very very astute observation, Mr. Gordon.
And another thing, if there's like the base is loaded, right, and the guy gets walked, and it wins the game, the guy at bat should not have to go to first base.
No,
and the guy in third,
the dugout.
The guy in third shouldn't have to touch home plate. Why bother?
Absolutely.
Just they should go to their dugout, and that's the end of it. I mean, why are we just trying to not waste time with this?
I mean, that could take about 5 or 6 seconds sometimes if he's just got a slow trot to go from third base to home. That could slow down the game. You're right.
Well, yeah, it tacks on to the time of game, which if it pushes it over 3 hours, the sky's falling. God forbid.
In order to speed up the game, though, if the guy's going to have an intentional walk and they just send him down to first base, he should have to run really, really fast to speed the game up.
No, you might get hurt.
That's true. Yeah.
So
get him a skateboard.
The whole thing is that time it takes to a walk, that adds to the time of the game, which could push it over 3 hours or 4 hours. Mm-hmm. And that's that's to me like an emotional thing. Like, another the game's 3 hours and 2 seconds because of a game-ending walk. Oh, great! Another game over 3 hours where the guy didn't have to go to first; they just stopped the clock. Game's over. 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. That's a big difference.
Oh my God! Amazing, isn't it?
It is.
I'm gonna start watching minor league baseball. The umpire makes a call. He makes a call. That's it. Move on.
I heard at WBC that there was a game that went 10 innings, and they put runners on first and second to start the 10th inning. Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah, whatever team it was scored like 6 runs.
You're kidding me. Yeah, they should do that. If it goes more than 9 innings, load the bases up, and so they can end it quicker.
Well, it's been suggested that if a game goes more than 9 innings in the 10th inning, every half inning starts with a runner on second.
No. Here's what you do. If it's tied at the end of the 9th inning, you have a coin flip. Whoever loses. It'll be very quick because a guy could get hurt running out to second base in the top of the 10th inning. But it's very difficult to hurt yourself flipping a coin.
I get a better idea.
You might sprain your thumb, but it's not as bad as twisting your ankle.
I get a better idea. After the 9th inning, you do a coin flip to see which team wants to lead off the inning, or let the other team lead off and then hit in the bottom half of the inning. So you might win the coin toss and then decide that you don't want to hit first. You want to hit second. That way, if you score the run in the bottom half of the inning, it's a walk-off.
What if we did this? Instead of 162 games, how about having 81 games and just play 5 innings every day for 162 days?
That's a good idea. No disable list.
Less than 2 hours.
No disable list.
You don't want the fans to get bored.